It says now that we're on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your AEW Full Gear 2021 preview and predictions stream. Good morning to everyone out there, wherever it is that you're listening this from, whether it's on YouTube, youtube.com/Heel Steven, or if not, over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Around the Point. I did say I'm going to start this stream at 10 in the morning, but something happened this morning where I woke up earlier than usual. I woke up at 6 a.m. randomly. It just I think I'm not the only one this happens to. You randomly wake up early in the fucking morning. You can't go back to sleep right away. So you're struggling in bed, you're rolling around, what have you. And 2 hours later, I went back to sleep and I literally woke up around 10 something, like, fuck, I'm late. So here we are. I had this originally scheduled for 10 in the morning. It's basically 11 in the morning right now. Okay. So here we are. It is Friday. It is Friday, November the 12th, 2021. And let me just pop up here on the camera here. What is going on, everybody? As you can see here, though, I'm going to get to this in just a little bit because I feel like it has so much significance with this pay-per-view coming up. Full Gear going down this Saturday, live on pay-per-view, live from the, if I find it here right, from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So on October 10th, these two photos surfaced the internet. Tony Khan was at a football game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. And at this game, these two photos surfaced. And everyone kept focusing on the notebook that was written, the handwriting on the notebook, right? And this was the alleged card for Full Gear. And everyone and their mother was talking about, oh my God, how dare Tony Khan do this and shit. And I said then, and I'm going to say it again, I'm pretty sure a lot of promoters, do rough drafts, before a pay-per-view, come up with a preliminary card. I mean, I've heard stories over the years of Paul Heyman in ECW. Back when ECW was in its glory days, he would go into the locker room, write a match card on a toilet paper, and debut these fucking bangers. So when everyone talked about this and, Tony Khan doing this, doing that, I told everyone to relax. Now, granted, there's some matches on this that's happening tomorrow that was written on this notepad that's happening, and then there's some that's not happening. But it's safe to say that I think a lot of people jumped the gun on this way too fucking much when this surfaced the internet. But what is going on, everybody? It is Steve once again. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Give the video a big old thumbs up. Share it through social media. You can follow me on Twitter and all my social media over at Heel Steven. So make sure you guys check me out on that in that front. And again, this is the predictions for Full Gear. I'm going to be real with you guys. I think the show overall is going to be good. I'm looking at this card. It's not a bad card. Not a bad card from top to bottom. I think for everyone, the big question is it finally going to happen, right? Is it finally going to happen? Is it finally time for our good old pal, your friend and my friend, the Hangman? Is it finally time for the Hangman to finally walk out after all these years, right? As the new AEW World's Heavyweight Champion. You guys can give me your thoughts in the comment threads, or if not, on social media over on Twitter at Heel Steven, and I'll gladly read them and give you a like and a retweet, what have you. But I'm not complaining. But to let you guys know, though, tomorrow we will be live. Once during the show, we're doing a watch along. We're going to be live for the watch along. So make sure you tune in for that. We'll be live on YouTube and on Twitch. So make sure, again, you guys are tuned in for that. There's a reason why I'm doing this now in the morning is because I'm not going to be home later tonight. I'm going out with family, even though right now in Jersey, it is pouring fucking rain right now. So there's that, but we're still gonna go out. That is the plan. So I'm not gonna be home to watch SmackDown. I won't be home to watch Rampage. So this is why I'm doing this right now. Hope you guys understand this. Just to get that out of the way. All right. So also, before I get into the prediction, let you guys know that literally yesterday, myself and Big Mike, we went back in time. We did a watch along to Survivor Series 1991. So make sure you guys go give that a listen when you get a chance. It was very, very good stuff there. On that end. And we'll be back next week to review to watch basically the 1998 Survivor Series. So make sure you're subbed to the channel. We're like literally 3 subs away from 2,000 people. Let's get it popping. All right. We also have the Streamlabs enabled if you want to leave a donation. Links down below in the description box and all that fun stuff. So enough about me rambling and all that fun stuff. Let's get into this card. There's 10 matches on this card. 10 matches. And I said overall, it looks to be a good card. But and again, I get it. They don't do pay-per-views every single month. Just unlike WWE. They do a pay-per-view every single month. For AEW, it's like quarterly. Like, it's November now. I'm pretty sure the next one's in February. And then after that is in May. So with that, it's one of those situations where you go crazy with these pay-per-views, but at the same time, you hope that you're not sitting there for like God knows how many hours. I hope that's not the case at all. I hope it's not a situation where we're sitting there doing the live watch along and we're watching this shit for 5 hours. But I get the feeling it's going to be that case. I got a feeling. But anyway, let's get into this. So we kick things off with the buy-in match. The buy-in, which is basically the pre-show. If you're an MMA fan, if you're a fan of the UFC, this is like the prelims, if you will. You have Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. I do believe, again, if I'm wrong on this, I'm wrong. But I do think that Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa are still part of that TNT tournament. So I guess in a way that's cool to see. Nyla Rose, it's been hit and miss, which is crazy. Jamie Hayter was on Dynamite this past Wednesday in a tag team match or in a 6-person tag with Britt Baker and Reba as they went up against Thunder Rosa, Taynara Conti, and Anna Jay, which was not a good showing considering that you have your women's champion in this match. In that match on Dynamite, and there was only like a couple of spots here and there. But here, I mean, let's be honest, who's really sitting there and watching this match on the fucking buy-in? I'm curious to know on this one. If I'm picking a winner here, I'm probably going to go with Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa because, again, I do feel that them both still being in this tournament, I could be wrong on it again. I'm curious here. What is the bracket right now for the TBS women's tournament? I'm curious on this one. Let me see here. Because now I'm curious. Holy shit. And for whatever reason, my computer's being a bitch right now. Women's championship tournament. Oh, what the fuck? Here we go. TBS women's championship women's tournament. Here we go. So this is what I want to see right now. I'm curious on this one. What's the current bracket right now? Because I do feel like right now, no, so you don't have. Okay, yeah, all women here are still part of this tournament, which is the crazy part about it. I did say that, but yeah, all women are still part of this tournament, so you want to give them some shine. So with that being said, I'm probably going to go with the team of Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida, even though they went up against each other a couple of months ago. So there's that. From there, we go on to the main card. We start off with Pac and Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. Let's be honest here. You knew going in, Cody was going to get a spot on the show. It's crazy because I said, oh my God, we're doing this pay-per-view and there's not a Cody Rhodes match on the show. Well, I was wrong. We're gonna get the Cody match. Cody, in some way, shape, or form, has to be involved in this pay-per-view. Even if it's in a tag team match, player. He's teaming up with Pac. It's crazy to think that a couple of years ago, these two guys were involved in some angle in WWE where at the time Pac was Neville and they viewed him as the superhero, right? And at the time, Cody was doing the whole Stardust thing and they were going to do this whole thing. Matter of fact, no, they did at SummerSlam, right? It was Stephen Amell and who was it? It was Stephen Amell and Pac versus Cody, and I forgot against, I think it was Wade Barrett. And they did that whole angle, right? And now here we are years later, and they're teaming now together. They're teaming up. It should be a fun match. It really should be. It's crazy because I really do feel like the money here is Cody and Andrade feuding. And that's the way they want to go with things, right? Andrade at the same time been involved with Pac, with the whole Lucha Brothers a couple of weeks ago. And it's one of the situations that I said this before, and I'll say it again. As much as I enjoy, seeing Andrade feud with Cody, which is awesome, don't get me wrong. But I really wish and I really feel like, this program, and I know people don't want to admit it, but I feel like it's missing something, and that something is Ric Flair. Because again, I know a lot of people aren't happy with what happened with Ric Flair on Dark Side of the Ring and all that shit. Even though that happened years ago, it is what it is. But I do feel like if you add Ric Flair into this storyline, have him go in there as the father-in-law to Andrade, and it continues that Flair Rhodes rivalry. Even though it's not Ric Flair wrestling Cody Rhodes, you have Flair's son-in-law in Andrade, and then you have Arn in the mix, and that has a whole different dynamic to it. But I do feel like Ric Flair is missing from this program. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Malachi Black and Andrade getting the win. I really do feel like it's going to happen, but we shall see. From there, we go to Christian Cage in the Jurassic Express of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus going up against the Super Click of Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. Now, we all saw what happened on Dynamite when Bobby Fish was presented by Adam Cole to the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks talked about how there's no dispute here. It's the era of the elite, right? And a lot of people were saying, hey, it's the planting of the seeds almost, right? It's like, and I said this a long time ago, that it's like Adam Cole is going to be the one who turns on the elite from within. And we do get that 3-on. I mean, again, that is, of course, if a Kyle O'Reilly decides to leave NXT in a couple of months or in a couple of weeks or so. I know his deal is coming up real soon. And I'm pretty sure, let's be honest here, he is looking at what Bobby's doing on AEW, what could be done if he shows up. And it's like, man, I really want to be there. I don't want to be teaming up with fucking Von Wagner of all fucking people. So if that happens, we do have potentially the Undisputed Era versus the Elite. Shut up and take my money. But with that being said, this match, they were saying it was going to be Adam Cole versus Christian Cage. That didn't happen. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really wish they would have waited on an Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy match, and they could have done it here. But I get it. Things happen. It is what it is. It should be a very, very fun match. I mean, if you've seen what the Super Click used to do back in the day in Ring of Honor and PWG, you already know what to expect. You already know what to fucking expect. At the same time, it's just one of those things too. Hey, the Jurassic Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, they do need a win. Christian Cage, I just feel like now, since he lost the Impact World title, is going to be there just to, make guys look good. But that being said, It should be a fun match all you want. I know they had a match was a couple of weeks ago on Rampage, and the SuperKick got a win there. So the possibility that they could give a win here to Direct Express, but if my gut feeling says though the SuperKick pulls off a win here, they pull off the win. From there, we go to what I think is one of the most anticipated matches on the show, that being CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston, one-on-one. Now, we all saw the promo from a couple of weeks ago on Rampage where they both went at it, right? And it felt raw. It felt real. It felt like you're about to watch two grown men literally fight on television. And we saw the brawl that they had in the parking lot on Dynamite. It escalated real quick. It really, really did. I know there's an article that Eddie Kingston wrote in some publication that was deep, real deep. And it's one of those things too, Eddie Kingston, this is arguably the biggest match of his career. The biggest match of his career. And the thing is, though, with CM Punk, you're protecting him way too much. I know you're booking him as this undefeated guy. He's like 7-0, and he's there also to make people look good and all that stuff. Because that's the role that he's in now. As much as he used to hate that certain role 7 years ago, he is in that role now. And it's one of those things where if you're Eddie Kingston, you do need a win. You need a big win here. You really, really do. So, do you really have CM Punk lose to Eddie Kingston? That's the question. I don't know. I just don't know, honestly. But that being said, though, I'm going to go with CM Punk because, like I said before, as much as I feel like Eddie should win, I just don't see AEW pulling the trigger on that. I don't see it happening. So I'm going to go with CM Punk here for what it's worth. From there, we go to Darby Allin versus MJF. This is another program that has really been very interesting because you talk about the pillars. MJF talked about a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite, the pillars of AEW, and Darby was in that discussion. I think what you're going to get here are two guys that are going to go out there and showcase what they can do. They're going to be showing you what's to come years from now in AEW. Not just from that perspective of these two guys right now that already have these big matches under their belts in the time that they've been there, right? Darby's wrestled the likes of a John Moxley. He's wrestled for the title and lost. He was a TNT champion, right? Beat Cody Rhodes. Teaming up with Sting. Awesome stuff. And if you're MJF, again, you beat Cody Rhodes, you beat Jericho multiple times. You have a win over Sammy Guevara. You also competed for the title. So you do have here your future basically showcasing you what's to come years from now. That's basically what you have here. What is up, little Fettuccine 6'9"? What will be the match of the night? I think that has to be probably Eddie Kingston and CM Punk for me right now. But with Darby and MJF, it's back and forth, and you can relate to it. Here's someone that's been through a lot of struggles in life, right? We all can relate to that person, right? And you have that one asshole, that snobby asshole that just shoves it in your face and all that. So we can relate to that. So with that, I'm gonna say Darby gets the win here. Darby gets his finally his just dues here. But the question is too, is this a one match feud and that's it? Or is it gonna continue? That's also the question. So with this, I'm gonna go anything too, though. MJF does need a win. He, at the same time. So I'm gonna go with MJF. I think MJF does get the win. That is if this feud continues going forward and shit into probably the next pay-per-view. Who knows? From there, we go to the tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. We have the Lucha Bros of Penta El Cero M and Rey Fenix versus FTR of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. what was it, last Wednesday on Dynamite, Harwood had a match against, if I remember correctly here, he wrestled. Oh my God, I'm having a fucking brain fart right now. I'm having right now a fucking brain fart against fucking Pac. Yeah, he wrestled Pac on Wednesday night. It was a very good match. Very good match that really picked up, and it really just had everyone going insane. Here, you have arguably two of the best tag team this company has to offer you, and the Lucha Bros, and you already know are gonna do some crazy shit. You already know this already, and then you have obviously FTR, who are currently the AAA tag team champions, who they beat who beat the Lucha Bros a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite. Thankfully, if you're the if you're FTR, it's not for your AAA tag team titles. It's not. There's been talks from FTR that they want their belts back. It was like a year ago since they've lost those titles. Like a year ago, I think, to this very time, that they lost to the Young Bucks in the same pay-per-view. So with that, it's going to be a fucking banger of a match. Arguably, could be the match of the night. It very well could be. Little Fettuccine 69 writes in the comments, I'm looking forward to Lucha Bro versus FTR. You ain't the only one, bruh. You are not the only one with that. Absolutely. You are not the only one. Let me just say that right now. Let me just give a perfect color here. There you go. God damn it. Just a good color here. And that should be good. That should be good enough, I think. There you go. There you go, pal. Much better. Much better. But it's the thing about it. It's like, who do you give a win here to? It's going to be back and forth. You already know that. I'm going to see some crazy shit here. That being said, I'm going to go with the Lucha Bros retaining their titles, because I don't see FTR holding both titles here. I don't see it happening. But I do think, again, it's going to be probably the match of the night. From there, we go to the Minneapolis Street Fight. The Inner Circle of Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz versus the Men of the Year of Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and the team of American Top Team of Junior Dos Santos, former UFC heavyweight champion himself, also former UFC heavyweight champion Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky, and the man behind American Top Team, Dan Lambert. I know a lot of you are very, very triggered by Dan Lambert. You guys don't like him. You guys think of him as the worst thing in wrestling and shit like that. I think he's amazing. Not just for the success of American Top Team and the champions that have come out of that gym in the UFC, the likes of Joanna and Jacek, the Nunes, Dustin Poirier, former interim champion, obviously himself, Colby Chaos Covington, who came up short last Saturday night against Kamaru Usman. Again, even in his own right, former interim champion, for in his own respective right as well. It's just one of those things where, again, he's a fan of wrestling. It's been noted for years. Like, even back in the day in TNA, when they were doing the whole Bobby Lashley, whether you're an MMA fighter or pro wrestler and shit, and Dan Lambert was there as well, I enjoyed their work. It was fucking amazing. So that being said, let's be honest here. I enjoy what they did on Saturday, on Wednesday on Dynamite, where they literally had Dan Lambert powerbomb Chris Jericho. Not only that, but they had Jericho locked in the walls of Jericho, and Dan Lambert correcting everyone. Oh no, it's the Boston Crab, made famous in 1970 something by Rocky Johnson. And Jericho being force attacked by Men of the Year. But all this is making you want to see Dan Lambert get his ass kicked. It makes you want to see Dan Lambert get his comeuppance, which is likely going to happen. I do see the Inner Circle winning, and I see Dan Lambert getting the pinfall, taking the fall for his team. But I do hope it's not the end of Dan Lambert. I hope it's not the end of American Top Team. I do feel like a lot of those people that are there can definitely make that transition to pro wrestling. I'll give you one example right now. Paige Van Zandt, who, let's face it, her career's not looking good in bare knuckle fighting. It's not happening, pal. I do think there's money in her in wrestling, whether it's in AEW, whether it's WWE. I don't fucking know. So we'll see where that happens, where that goes with that. But I do see, again, I do see, obviously, the American top team getting the loss here in the inner circle, walking out victorious. From there, we go to Bryan Danielson versus Miro in the finale of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Now, we all remember it was supposed to be Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. But being that Moxley put himself into rehab for alcoholism and all that stuff, which I think is commendable, it's great that he's seeking help, and I hope that he does make a return and all that stuff. And I'll be honest here. When I heard all this happening, because you knew going in that it was going to be Moxley versus Orange Cassidy, but instead they had Miro face Orange Cassidy, and Miro gave a beat down, what have you. I don't know what it is, but a part of me thought they're going to give Orange Cassidy, a bye, if you will, a bye into the finals, and we're going to get Bryan Danielson versus Orange Cassidy, which is a match people in some weird way want to see. Bryan Danielson, right? The guy that was told no for years and finally had his moment, right? Main evented 2 WrestleManias, right? Former world champion, right? Respected amongst others, competing against Orange Cassidy. You know that match is going to happen. It's bound to happen. Believe me, it's going to happen. So that being said, with Miro here, I love how they repackaged Miro. They took away that gaming bullshit, and now they made him a monster. They fucking made him a monster. The former TNT champion in his own right. It should be a very, very fun match. Good back and forth. I'm pretty sure Bryan gonna get his whole chest chopped the fuck up. But when it's all said and done, I feel like even though Bryan this past Wednesday on Dynamite had a very good match against Rocky Romero, where you knew he was going to win, it's one of those things where who do you have win here, right? It can go either way. Do you go with Miro, who was a former TNT champion, now has a big chip on his shoulder, right? Wasn't even in, as far as I remember, as far as I know, Miro wasn't even in the tournament to begin with. Let that sink in for a second. Miro wasn't even in the tournament to even begin with. But they put him here as a bye. They put him in here because Jon Moxley got out, what have you, right? So, again, if you're Miro, you have even a bigger chip on your shoulder now. And if you're Bryan Danielson, hey, you want a shot at Kenny Omega. You want a shot at the champion, right? You want a shot at the guy who's going to walk out of this pay-per-view as world champion, right? You already had a match with Kenny Omega. It was a great match. I was there. It was electric, right? You want to go at it again, right? That is if Kenny walks out as champion, come out of full gear. We don't fucking know. But that's the question right now. Who do you give this win to right now? I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson. I think with Bryan, you run the course, right? You stay that course, right? We don't know when the match is going to be. We don't know when, right? But I'm going to go with Bryan here to get his win. That's what we're going with here. I'll be shocked if they actually have Miro beat Bryan Danielson. From here, we go to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defending the AEW Women's Championship versus Tay Conti. I'm going to be honest. I literally forgot that Tay Conti was competing this Saturday night for the championship. Literally forgot. There was a match on Wednesday, like I mentioned earlier, when I talked about the buy-in with Jamie Hayter. I talked about how this past Wednesday on Dynamite, you had Britt Baker teaming up with Rebel and Jamie Hayter to take on the team of Thunder Rosa, Tay Conti, and Anna Jay. And it's just one of those things where the match really wasn't that good. I felt like everyone who was watching that match in the crowd in Indiana were sitting there with their hands in their pockets, just not really caring at all. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Taynara Conti or Tay Conti. I'm sorry, Tay Conti. I think she's beautiful. I think she has improved 100%. No one's denying you that. But are we really going to give her a world title match? Really? When you have the likes of, I don't know. I mean, are we really going to give her a title match? That's the thing about it. I mean, she's not winning. She's here because, hey, she's gonna get basically her teeth kicked out by Britt Baker. So there you go. I'm gonna go with Britt Baker to retain her title. And I do think, though, by the time we get to Double or Nothing, we get that program. We get back to Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. We go back to that program. Full circle here, pal. But that's what's going to happen. You can't have Britt Baker be champion and not go back to that program because remember, Thunder Rosa beat Britt Baker in that lights out match. Even in defeat, it did more good for Britt Baker than it did for Thunder Rosa, who won the match. Let that sink in too. So I'm going with Britt Baker to retain and still. And then we go to the main event. For the AEW World Championship here. We have Kenny Omega defending the IWGP. I'm sorry, Kenny by God Omega, right? The God of pro wrestling. What some of you guys would refer to him as. Versus Adam Hangman Page. The Hangman who won a ladder match a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite. He was the surprise entrant, right? The Joker, if you will. And he won this ladder match a couple of weeks ago to earn this spot, to earn this shot at Kenny Omega again. It's finally led to this, right? Everyone thought at All Out it was going to be Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page, right? It made sense too. Oh my God, they're going back 2 years later to the scene of the crime, the same city, the same match, what have you. Hangman finally gets his moment, and he didn't. He lost in that tag team match, remember? To the Elite. And that match didn't happen. Instead, it was Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega. And then, you see Brian show up. It's like, oh my God, Hangman's never going to get his moment, right? And you fast forward now, here we are. Hangman wins that ladder match. He gets a match at Full Gear, which, again, a year ago, he lost to Kenny Omega in the finale of the World Title Eliminator. So there's also significance with this event for Hangman Page. He comes back 1 year later, almost to the date, to basically he's back here now to correct that loss in his mind. And for a lot of people, it's like it's now or never. It's now or never. Do we finally now put the belt on Hangman Page? That's the question now. Is it time now before it's too late? The last thing you want to have to go through is this issue of like when Braun Strowman. Remember when Braun Strowman was over as shit at one time in WWE, right? And everyone was saying at the time, put the belt on him. And when they finally did, no one really cared. Reading the comment, doesn't seem to be as much hype around this pay-per-view as there was last one. Yeah, no. There wasn't hype because All Out was like this crazy show where it was probably AEW's best pay-per-view in the history of their existence. Hands down. All those surprises that they had. And then you follow that with Arthur Ashe. There was so much momentum. Now, everything kind of cooled down a little bit. Everything calmed down. Okay. So there was that. when it comes to there not being that much hype. I think there is. It's just that, again, everything is kind of cooled down now because all the surprises have happened. And this is what you get also when you try to put everything at one moment instead of milking shit. So with that being said, it's going to be a good match. I did enjoy the contract signing, even though I'm not big on contract signings. I'm not big on them, especially in pro wrestling. It's not my thing, right? But I enjoyed this one. The way they had everyone think that all the members of the Elite, all the members of the Dark Order have left the building, right? And the cameraman attacks Hangman Page. It turns out to be Don Callis, and you have Kenny sign the contract in Hangman's blood. All of this is making you believe that, hey, Hangman Page is walking now as the new world champion. That's the belief. Because can you imagine, right? Can you imagine, though, right? Can you imagine what would happen if Hangman Page doesn't win? Can you imagine what would happen if the Hangman doesn't win tomorrow night? You know what's going to happen? This will be the IWC tomorrow. My bad. Going tomorrow night if Hangman doesn't win. This will be the entire IWC. Like that. Listen, if you're Hangman Page, listen, you win tomorrow, we're off the Sizzler, pal. We're off the fucking Sizzler. It's over. You did it. You finally, you scratched and clawed all the bullshit. You finally did it. And that's what you want to see. That's how they have to close the show. With Hangman Page finally getting the win. Enough of the bullshit. Let the celebration happen, right? I can picture it now. Confetti, balloons, his wife and his kid in the middle of the ring. If Hangman wins, whom will he feud next? Probably Bryan. If Bryan is the one to win, I mean, if Miro wins, maybe he's Miro. But we'll see what happens with that. But then again, listen, Hangman Page needs to win tomorrow night. Hell yeah, Hangman for the win. Finally. Okay, Eric Clark, I got you there. I got you. But that's what needs to happen tomorrow. That's what needs to happen. The Hangman getting the win. Can you, again, imagine it doesn't happen? Imagine. And again, it's Tony Khan here. I know Tony Khan right now has a lot of shit on his plate right now. I know right now Tony Khan has egg on his face for what the fuck happened literally yesterday during that conference call. I heard what happened. I heard what the fuck he said. It was stupid. Fucking dumb. You know what I mean? For all this talk of you guys getting Vince shit for all his comments and all that stuff, you got to give that same energy to Tony Khan. You have to. I personally felt at the same time he was caught off guard. And that question about if AEW would ever, what's it called? Would they ever host their own like women's event? And his response was, all he had to do was say yes or no. That's all he had to do. Say yes or no. You know what I mean? It's all he had to say. But instead, it's like, oh, I paid for the women from AEW to be in that tournament, but you decide whether they're getting paid. No one said anything about that. And I didn't get credit for that. Bro, no one said anything about that. You basically took women that are barely on television to wrestle on this event. At least Impact Wrestling brought out Deonna Purrazzo when she was the Knockouts champion to take part of this event. Then when Hangman wins the title, what's going to happen to Kenny? For Kenny, I don't know. Listen, like I said earlier, we saw on Dynamite with Bobby Fish and Adam Cole and the Elite, the Young Bucks, if Kyle O'Reilly is to leave NXT in a couple of weeks or so, what have you, in a couple of weeks, couple of months, what have you, and he goes to AEW, and I said this earlier, that I feel like Adam Cole is going to turn on the Elite from within. So from there, we do get eventually the return of the Undisputed Era under a different name versus the Elite. of Kenny and the Bucks. I'm all for that. Because I'm pretty sure if you ask Kyle O'Reilly right now, hey, Kyle, do you want to do that? Or still be stuck on this NXT 2.0 where you're at the bottom of the card? We're going to put you back in the tag team title picture, even though you took out Adam Cole, and place you with this random jamoke named Von Wagner. Pick your poison, Kyle. So there's that too. But anyway, like I said, there's a reason why I did this morning, because I'm going out later tonight. I'm going to get some sushi with family and then go to a movie. So I won't be home tonight to watch SmackDown, to watch Rampage. However, we will be live tomorrow for the live watch along. It's the return of Wrestle Companion. It's the return of fucking Wrestle Companion live on YouTube and on Twitch this coming Saturday night as we are watching along to AEW Full Gear 2021. So make sure you are tuned in tomorrow on YouTube and on Twitch, whatever you listen to this on. If you're on Twitch, please hit that follow button. We're trying to become a Twitch affiliate. If you're on YouTube, listen, we're like 3 subs away from 2,000 subscribers. We hit 2,000, I am doing a giveaway. But it's only going to happen if we hit 2,000 subscribers. We don't hit 2,000, there is no giveaway. Understand that. Also, I want to let you guys know that this coming Thanksgiving Thursday, I will be doing a live Q&A here on the YouTube channel, here on Twitch also. If you go on the video archives of this channel, find this video with this thumbnail. In that comment threads of that video, submit me your question. 3 questions per person. Ask me whatever you want. 3 questions per person. All right? Also, literally yesterday, myself and Big Mike were live for the Survivor Series watch-along. We watched Survivor Series 1991. Next week, we are watching Survivor Series 1998. So make sure you tune in for that one as well. Also, I was active this week. I was very active. This past Wednesday, I did a review of Dynamite, right? My thoughts on the contract signing before Full Gear. And on this past Monday, I did a Raw review. And this past Saturday, your boys got together, myself, Big Mike, and Walter. We did a live watch-along of UFC 268, Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman 2 for the UFC Welterweight Championship. And we also watched along to Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. So all the stuff that went down this past week. So again, guys, hit that subscribe button down below. Show some love. Follow me on Twitter and all social media. Follow me literally on all social media platforms over at Heel Steven. Show some love there, guys. Follow me on all platforms that you see. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to head out. It is literally time for me to step out. I got shit to do. I'll be back tomorrow for the live watch-along. Wrestle Companion, ladies and gentlemen, is back. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the live watch-along. Peace out, everybody.